It's Drewski McGillicuddy's best horror movies of the decade.
We'll just say
stop. We're recording. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. You just react to what I'm doing,
right,
and we'll be fine.
Just push forward.
We're pushing forward, everybody. Hey, everybody! Speaking of which, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and it's your boy Chad
Ashbrook.
Oh my god! Maybe this was a bad idea,
dude. How no intro? Or here. Why don't you do an intro by yourself and then say we got a special guest, and then I'll come in. Introduce me, like.
Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and today we have a special guest, Chad Ashbrook. No, just sit down. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Thank you. I'm glad you could be here. I probably left this in like at the wrong spot. Anyway, today is a special occasion. That's why I had Chad drive all the way over here so that we could do our best horror movies of the decade. Look out, there it is. I don't know where it came from, but there it is. The best horror movies of the decade. I got fancy technology, lets me do things. But anyway, so how we compiled our list was I piled a bunch of horror movies onto a piece of paper, and he compiled a bunch of horror movies onto his cellular device. Anyway, that's all beside the point. We both have a couple of honorable mentions. So how we're going to do it is I'm going to give you my honorable mentions, he's going to give you his honorable mentions, and I'm going to give you my number 10, and then he's going to give you his number 10, and vice versa, back and forth until we're done and we've reached number 1. Which is all we're really here for. Any of these videos is to see what's number 1. And if you're new to this channel, we're a little unorthodox. The only thing I write down is like stuff like this. Everything else completely thrown together, and Chad's not expecting anything that's about to happen because we neither one of us know anybody.
We just threw this all together at the last minute, so
and neither one of us
have fun with it.
Neither one of us know either one's list.
Not at all.
So we're surprising each other, even though I picked my list by picking one movie from each year and then putting those onto the list and then ranking them from there. And I don't know how the hell he compiled his list.
My favorite.
So if you feel like I'm missing some stuff, it's because I was very strict on how, but instead of rambling on about it, we'll get to it. How about it?
Well, before we get started, do you think our list will look similar?
I feel like you'll have a couple of mine on yours and a couple of yours on mine. I would hope so.
Maybe our top 5.
Now, granted, I haven't seen probably as many movies as you because, he has nothing better to do than go watch movies while I have to work all the time.
But yet,
That's why I just wait for them to come out on Blu-ray. And then somebody donate them to Goodwill.
Right. Yeah, I think our top 5 will look similar, but we'll see.
So, let's start it out with honorable mentions.
Let's do the honorable mention.
Okay.
It was released.
Don't make me have to edit this out. Maybe I'll just show them, look at my list. We're fucking unprofessional. So my first honorable mention is, it's from 2011. It's Cabin in the Woods. I thought this was a very interesting homage, at the same time being like a satire, but at the same time being a really good horror movie with a lot of really good effects and a lot of, love for the genre put into the movie. I guess, he already spoiled it for me, but yeah. He'll talk more on that later, apparently. My next honorable mention is also, I think, from 2011, and that's You're Next, one of the best home invasion movies to come out this decade or any other decade. It just somehow got knocked off the list. Because I told you, these are just honorable mentions, and I told you how I made my list. Okay, we'll just move on to my other honorable mention. And this honorable mention was on the list until it was replaced by another movie that I hadn't even known came out this decade until Chad showed up to do this list. So, VHS.
And he just had it laying out, and I'm like, oh yeah.
VHS from 2012. See, look, you're just ruining everything. Like, I was gonna have it like number. I can't do. I don't know how to fancy edit anything. But yeah, VHS, one of the best found footage movies from this decade, that decade, the other decade, and it even had a worthy sequel that was pretty good. And then I guess the third one isn't. You know,
I haven't seen the third one.
Nobody talks about the third one.
The second one was pretty good though.
But yeah, the first two are some of the best found footage. Like, a lot of people don't like found footage, but even if you don't like found footage, I think you would like VHS because it makes sense, sort of, in the sense that these people are watching VHS tapes of little snippets of things that were filmed with a VHS camera, and it's kind of creepy, especially the ghost house Halloween night
got
thing.
Crazy too.
Yeah,
like every story before that one was pretty straightforward and solid and creepy, but the last one just went off the rails.
Yeah, I was literally chilled to the bone at the end of that movie. Anyway, that's just an honorable mention, but since it was on the list, I had to talk about it a little bit more. But another honorable mention is Starry Eyes from 2014, about a girl that's trying to make it in Hollywood, and she'll do anything it takes. Anything.
You've told me about that one, but I have not seen it.
Oh my God, you never watched my recommendations, you piece of shit. Let's hear your honorable mentions.
All right. So, I have two...
Keep in mind that I told you I was going to edit out you staring at your phone.
Yeah.
That way you look like you know what you're talking about. So, look at it, then look at the camera, and tell us about it.
All right. Thank you, Coppola. Thanks, Coppola. Okay, so... The one that I really enjoyed, but I didn't put on the list. There's actually two I really enjoyed, but I didn't put on my top 10 because they are remakes. And I just feel like that should knock off a few points.
Oh,
so,
I'm about to get pissed off?
Maybe. So, one was Suspiria.
Oh, okay, never mind. I haven't seen it.
So, that was a really great film, but... And it wasn't exactly like the first one, but it was still a remake. The other one that I really enjoyed was Evil Dead, the remake. Now, that could have very well made my top 10, but there's just other films that are original that I think should have gotten the top 10 nod over that. And then I put on there Veronica, which...
Still haven't seen that. That was supposed to be the scariest movie on Netflix.
It's really good, but it doesn't have... Speaking of original, and a really original premise, so I didn't want to put on my top 10. I've got a couple more here. Two that were my favorite slashers of the decade were Happy Death Day and Terrifier. Terrifier, I don't think had enough substance or good acting to put in the top 10, but as a pure slasher, it was the best. Happy Death Day.
There haven't really been any slashers. I mean, Happy Death Day, but that's PG-13. I haven't seen that. But
I was surprised by Happy Death Day. I thought it would be a stupid,
I'm actually surprised at how many people absolutely despise Terrifier. I mean, I get it. There's some bad acting, but for what money they had and what they did with what they had,
as a slasher,
it is incredible. It's just
kept me
the
on my
acting kind of... I don't know. The one girl with the black hair was pretty good.
For that movie, maybe.
But Art the Clown.
I mean,
we don't want to get into Art,
Art the Clown.
These are honorable mentions, everybody.
Go
and
down.
that one kill.
Yeah,
everyone knows that one kill.
Am I allowed to show that? Am I going to get fucking demonetized?
You got on your Scooby-Doo thumbnail. I remember that. So, check out his review of Terrifier.
That's actually my most popular movie review for weird. I don't know why. I have no idea.
I think
why.
the thumbnail, and I think it came out at the right
I stole
time.
that thumbnail off of Google.
So, real quick, Happy Death Day just surprised me. I thought it was going to be a real stupid, cheesy movie, which it kind of was, but it was still really good.
How many honorable mentions you got, dude?
I got two more.
Okay, Jesus.
So, the one was a very well done movie. Fantastic. But I don't think it was scary enough to put in my top 10, and that is Black Swan. So...
See, okay, that's where I want to step out, and I do need to watch it again because I feel like we haven't even watched it since me and her went on one of our first dates to see that in the theater.
We haven't watched it since.
I have it on Blu-ray, but I haven't watched it since. But I would not consider that. That is straight thriller. That's not horror. Like,
That's why
people were arguing with you about another movie that may or may not be on your list that I have not seen. But we'll talk more about that when we get to it.
That's why I didn't put it on my top 10, because it wasn't scary enough. But my last one is because I didn't put any zombie movies on here, and that's my favorite
Oh my
genre.
God, now that you mention it, there was a zombie movie that could have been an honorable mention. I'm going to throw it out there real quick. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What?
The Girl with All the Gifts.
I didn't see that.
Oh my God, if The Last of Us was a movie, that would be The Girl with All the Gifts.
I definitely need to see that.
It's basically The Last of Us movie that we never got.
Because I feel like...
Have you played The Last of Us?
The first decade, 2000 to 2010, had crazy amount of great zombie movies, right? 2010 to 2020, not so much.
We were just being overdone with, like, I'm
Yeah,
wearing a
those
zombie
too many.
shirt right now, one of the best
Yeah.
ever made. Blue zombies. Here, we'll just cut all that part out, I guess.
The zombie movie, and I don't even know how to really pronounce it, Train to Busan or
Busan.
Busan. Yeah, I think I looked it up and it's actually pronounced with a P. So
Shit.
that
that is an honorable mention. I'll have to speak up for that movie because that was balls to the wall.
The only other really good zombie movie I've seen this decade was Ravenous, but I'm not even gonna put that in my honorable mentions. But
see, you got me having to pop up all these movie posters.
But that does it with my honorable mentions, so we can move on to the real list, the real deal.
Oh, okay. So, a lot of stuff they have to be cutting out. It's gonna take me 2 days to fucking edit this. We're starting over. Number 10 from 2012, and this was actually the movie that replaced VHS on the list. And that is the movie that was laying over there that I decided to give to Chad because I had an extra copy and Devon Graham told me because he's got a bootleg Blu-ray copy or some shit like that. Or no, maybe he was just complaining that there isn't a Blu-ray. And the fact that there isn't a Blu-ray for the loved ones really tweaks my melon.
I've never heard that expression, but I like it.
But oh my God, the loved ones. Like, this is the closest to, like, the feeling you get watching the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre that I've ever seen in a movie. And a lot of people might not associate the loved ones with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but watch it again and just, like, the whole majority of the movie kind of is the dinner scene, and it's fucked up.
Yeah. No, I never made that connection, but you're right. I
feel like a lot of people slept on the loved ones, so I am not going to really mention it. It's a girl. She wants to take this guy to the prom. He ain't want to go with her. Big mistake.
Yeah.
But it is. Like, it should be higher on the list, honestly. But I'm lazy and I didn't feel like redoing the entire list because I overlooked this. Because I thought it came out in 2009. And then I realized it was just because it's from Australia and I didn't never look up what year it came out.
Yeah, it said 2012, so. But it didn't make I really enjoyed it, and we just had a small conversation about this. I said, I really don't like the home invasion movies.
It's not really a home invasion movie because they didn't invade anybody's home.
But it's got the same feel.
It's a capture movie. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because, like, you probably haven't seen it, and if you haven't seen it, go buy it if you can find it, or it should be on, like, Amazon Prime or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see her.
My number 10. So
just keep looking at your phone. Goddamn millennial.
The number 10 that I had is probably the only one on my list that I don't think will make most people's top 10s. And it's 2015's The Black Coat's Daughter.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, this movie is...
I had it in my queue for, like...
I didn't watch it for the longest.
I canceled Netflix.
To me, it made my top 10 because... and it's
what year is it from?
2015. It's real big on style and atmosphere. And it's got to do with the devil. And I guess I was raised Catholic, so anything that's got to do with the devil just creeps me out. And the ending isn't really a twist, but you're just left like, really? Like, okay. Like, You have to see it. I tell you, we're not going to spoil any of these, but
Is that all you had to say about that?
that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. I should have gargled with some salt water too. Number 9 is probably going to be pretty controversial. Man, I don't know if you've seen this movie. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but I know a lot of people hated this movie. I have no idea how I feel about this movie, but yet somehow here it is at number 9 on my best horror movies of the decade, and that is 2017's It Comes at Night. And what comes at night, you might want to know? Fear, paranoia, all kinds of shit. But, nothing really ever comes at night, but...
Right.
I don't know. There's just something about this movie and just the way that it just unnerves you the entire time you're watching it. You're like, you don't know who to trust. It's paranoia. It's like watching Paranoia. Like, I don't know how other to explain it to that. But a lot of people say that it's slow, it is boring, and nothing happens. But no, it's slow, but it's very atmospheric. The way that the movie is lit is top-notch. And Joel Edgerton has never done wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually forgot about that movie, and it would have made my honorable mentions.
I don't know. I still think about this movie. I need to watch it again, but I've never definitively come to the realization of whether I love or hate this movie, yet somehow it makes my number 9.
Yeah, I watched the whole movie and I loved it, but it left me feeling unsatisfied. But I think that feeling is why a lot of people
maybe
loved
the director
it.
thought, fuck you.
Yeah.
I love movies like that.
No,
you're not gonna get your clear cut, happy. Look at me, everybody. I made it.
My number 9 was actually one of his honorable mentions, and it's The Cabin in the Woods. I think it was the decade's best. Like he was saying, satire. Like it had the dark comedy and all that good stuff. And I feel like even though it was comedic, the scares in it were really good. And the more absurd it got, the more I was just into it. I was just into it the whole entire time.
Oh yeah, and this was. Well, I guess the Avenger or Thor had already came out.
Yeah, Hemsworth.
But it was filmed before he got all buff. He was kind of buff in the movie. But
he was still like the jock, right?
But all the characters in this were interesting and
he wasn't
likable.
picking up that hammer.
Like you got the stoner dude with that fancy bong mug thing. But it's just an all-around fun horror movie.
Yeah, and there's when they were doing the list and then going through and seeing them caged up in the cells and whatnot.
Was it Joss Whedon?
Yeah. Yeah.
He loves him some horror. He's...
Yeah, that's the Buffy dude. I think. So...
Alright, so my number 8 comes from 2018. What you keep forgetting to say, your years.
Oh, okay.
That's 2018's Revenge, because it's going to have the year pop up.
Okay.
It's going to be right here down in the corner. It's going to say, here's the poster. And here's the year, and then sometimes it'll have a glimpse of the movie. What did I say? 2018's Revenge. And this kind of reminds me of I Spit on Your Grave a little bit. You can tell it kind of has inspiration, but it's different enough to stand on its own, and it's one of the best, I hate to say it, rape revenge movies that there are.
The R word.
Because there's this beautiful girl, and she's dating this guy, and he leaves her with his friends, and his friends are not the most upstanding citizens, and things get out of hand, and things get out of hand. Have you seen Revenge?
I don't think I have.
Well, I think you need to.
I'm not much
today. Change that.
I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left. So I'd probably like it. I'm going to have to check it out.
The cinematography alone is fun to look at. Plus the fact that the lead actress is absolutely gorgeous. Even though terrible things happen to her. She's got to run around all scantily clad. But, who doesn't like, running around scantily clad.
All right, so my number 8 was probably my favorite Netflix horror movie there is, and that's
Still haven't seen it.
2017's The Ritual.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that. I thought you were going to say Bird Box.
No! Bird Box was good, but not top 10.
Tell us about The Ritual, Chad.
Oh, man. Okay, so it's like, kind of like the Blair Witch, right? These guys are over in a European country like Sweden or something like that. And that's actually really important because it's like Blair Witch. So the whole time, it's got the same creepy feeling like them going through the woods.
Is it found footage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't feel like found footage, but I think it was. So then, now I don't know if it's found footage. So anyway.
But it's on your list for best movies of the decade. What kind of hack are you?
But no, because I just wasn't really remembering if it was or not. But I'm pretty sure it was. But anyway, where Blair Witch lets you down and you never really see the monster, they totally go the other way. And it's got one of the best monster designs I've seen in a long time.
So it's like Pumpkinhead, maybe?
Maybe. But the monster in this, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's ridiculously crazy. And
should I have it flash real quick?
It's got a lot to do with the Nordic countries, so check it out if you haven't seen that.
All right, now, believe it or not, I have not seen that many horror movies in 2019, yet somehow number 7 would have to, because I had to pick something from each year. Number 7, you might not have seen because you were busy watching art house films. I saw Ready or Not, and it is probably the best movie of the year for me, aside from the Peanut Butter Falcon. But Ready or Not, at number 7.
That's a home invasion?
It's not a home invasion.
No.
She's getting married, and they have to play this game.
Oh, I'm thinking of You're Next. Go on.
But yeah, they have to play this game, and there's the one game that if you have to play it, someone has to die and be sacrificed, and that's hide and seek, and that's what she draws, and that's what they play. So hide and seek they play, and it's...
You remember that movie, Hide and Seek? With
no, it was
Robert De Niro.
Horrible. Horrible. We're not here to talk about horrible movies, Chad. We're talking about Ready or Not, because it is excellent. Just, oh my God, Samara Weaving is just one of the most beautiful women to ever exist.
Oh,
and you probably don't know who the fuck I'm talking about.
Who is it? What was she in?
Why don't you look it up? The Babysitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
dude.
Yeah. Like 15 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So look down at your phone, then look at the camera and give us your number 7.
Number 7, 2013's The Conjuring. I feel like... Did you just roll your eyes?
See, I fought so hard to even make this an honorable mention.
Really?
Because I do love the first 2 Conjuring movies, but then the universe just because of the fact that the direction the universe went, even though I haven't seen the movies, I saw the one movie and I was like, no, oh yeah, Annabelle Creation. Annabelle and Annabelle Creation. Everybody loved Annabelle Creation. Fuck that movie. That's what actually made me start my... That was the first video I ever filmed for my channel, and then it got lost somewhere and I had to do the Killer Flicks tag video.
Yeah, dude, because I literally watched that movie like 2 weeks ago and was looking for your review. And I couldn't find it. I'm like, I know you reviewed this movie.
Yeah, it got lost. I filmed it and then didn't like it because I was sitting on the fucking floor.
I didn't like the first Annabelle, but I liked Creation.
Like me, I
liked Coming
the
Home.
Secretary holding the fucking phone like this.
Yeah. So
it was horrible.
Okay, well here's why I like The Conjuring. While most of the movies...
Sorry everybody, just had to interrupt. Like the first 2 Conjuring's great. I have no interest in any of the rest of the movies.
So most of the movies in my list, I would obviously think they pushed the genre forward. The Conjuring though went back and just made it like a more simple, like a simple horror movie. I mean,
like hands down, one of the best PG-13 horror films ever made.
I think they utilized tension when they needed to, and then they had jump scares when they needed to. And
not even the jump scares, just like the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she looks up and that thing's on top of the wardrobe and just looking at her, and like the use of shadows and not knowing, is there something? Am I seeing something or am I not seeing something? What's behind that fucking door? Yeah, I feel like I should have put the Conjuring on.
Well, it was a
it's
a ghost. It's the ghost. It's like it's a haunted house movie, but it's a possession movie, ghost story, and
all the performances are excellent. Like every single, like all the kids.
And was that James Wan?
Yeah,
that's
James
probably
Wan,
his best movie, I think.
I don't know. I'd have to look up his filmography. I don't know because
did he do?
Because Lee Winnell, I think, did a Death Sentence, which I think is the most underrated movie ever. Fucking
James
made.
Wan do Insidious?
Yeah.
See,
you don't even know.
Insidious was good, but spoiler alert, it didn't make my top 10. So.
Yeah.
All right, go on. What's your number?
I don't know. I go for movies that affect me after I watch them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well,
like that I can't stop thinking about for days.
That's heavy in my top 5. Well, no, I was thinking about The Conjuring a lot afterwards. Like I go home and I lay in bed and I'm like,
this is basically
dude,
just
if there's
two
a
dudes
ghost
rambling.
here,
That's what I'll call it. I'll call it two dudes rambling about best movies of the decade.
Any possession movie, they get a lot of hate, but when I'm laying in bed alone, I'm like, dude, if a ghost wanted to possess me right now, there's
I'll
nothing
talk about
stopping
some
them.
shit to watch while you're laying in bed alone.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Talk about another ghost thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, what number are we on?
We're on 6.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
See, I was going to take this off and replace it with the other movie because we were having a thing about how that's not really horror, that's a thriller, and then I got to the point where I don't really give a shit. So, number 6 is 2015's The Gift. That also has Joel Edgerton in it, and I think it may have possibly been directed by Joel Edgerton, but I don't do research. But The Gift has got Joel Edgerton and the dude from Arrested Development with Jason Bateman, and apparently they used to know each other. And he runs into him, and the guy starts kind of stalking him and threatening to expose him for what he really is, which we don't really know what he is. And it's a tension-filled, beautifully directed, I don't know. It's kind of like a edge of your seat thriller, but I consider it kind of horror.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw it in there. Thrillers are horror, goddammit.
I mean, I would too, but I don't. Then Black Swan obviously.
Have you seen The Gift?
As well, I've seen it here with you.
Oh yeah. So, did we review it?
No.
Well, son of a bitch.
We'll review that.
Yeah, we'll review that eventually. Because
I
don't even know if I have it on Blu-ray, but I keep seeing the Blu-ray at Big Lots for $3. And if you have a Big Lots near you and there's a Blu-ray of The Gift for $3, you better buy that shit. I just haven't bought it yet because there's other stuff I need to buy. But this movie it's tension, just for the sake of being tension.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Definitely.
So, yeah, that made my number 6.
I don't think it's got shit on my number 6 though.
Oh, okay.
And that is It Follows, 2014.
See, I've been trying to get Sarah to watch this movie.
Yeah, that's the secretary.
For some reason, Sarah the Secretary Bolser. That's her name on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell us about It Follows. It was going to be on my list, and then it was almost an honorable mention, but then I realized I've only seen it once, and I need to watch it again to give my full... Because there's things about the movie I like, but things about the movie I didn't like.
I liked how it kind of hits you in 2 different ways on the same topic. So it takes the horror trope where you die after having sex, right? And that's in your face. But then there's a more subtle metaphor.
Like sex can save your life.
Something, about STDs or maybe even abstinence. Who knows? But it's basically just, it's commentary on teenage sex.
Only fuck the ones you love.
And, but aside from all of that stuff, the movie itself, like when they're on the beach, I thought
the very best scene in the entire movie was when she's banging on the door and you open it and there's nothing there, and then that big tall dude come barrel ass. I was like, ah!
But yeah, and well, you know, it's kind of hard to get back on track after you're throwing notebooks around. So
did you get a paper cut?
That's really about it.
Stop looking at my list.
I'm not looking at it. I'm not like reading it.
It follows. It's very John Carpenter-esque. That's
Yeah.
why one thing I liked about it. I felt like it was directed by John Carpenter because it's got a lot of his key movements with the camera and like some of the lighting. But I was frustrated by what year is it supposed to be? Nobody's got cell phones, but their girls got that clamshell thing.
Yeah, like is that
all the main characters
futuristic,
drive
retro?
classic vehicles, and then there's modern vehicles everywhere, but nobody's got a flat screen TV. They're watching black and white horror movies on TVs that look like they came out in the 50s.
Yeah, the time setting was pretty.
What
perfect.
season is it? Because she's swimming in a pool and then they're wearing fucking winter coats. What the fuck's going on here? Like, it's frustrating.
It's Ohio.
But maybe
Some Midwest
if I
town.
would have watched it again and, found out for myself why. I mean, I've watched a lot of analyzing videos, so I feel like I watched it again. Because I was like, what the
Right.
fuck did I just watch? That's why it didn't really make the list, because I kept wondering what the fuck.
But that's what you were saying before, though, is something that sticks with you that you actually think about afterwards.
Yeah,
You
I guess
know?
you're right.
So
It could have been an honorable mention for me. I got some other movies that I liked a lot more than
so
I
it
watched.
didn't even make your top
more.
10, huh?
Oh, did I ruin it for you?
Okay.
Because have any of your movies been on my list that are on your list?
I think we're doing
Two
good in that
different
regards.
dudes. We're two different dudes,
I
everybody.
was nervous when they had
What
the
are we on,
same
number
list.
5? We're on number 5.
We're on number 5.
We don't want to put any remakes on my fucking list because number 5 is 2013's Evil Dead. Talk about reinventing remakes.
I said it
this
could have
is
made
a
my top 10.
It's not even really a remake. It's a reinvention of
Yeah.
similar story. I mean, it's even the same universe. This story, it's a sequel. It's a fucking sequel. Like
Yeah,
how the Final
it is.
Destination went
Because
from
the car's there.
Final Destination 3 to the Final Destination back to Final Destination.
I mean, you're probably right. It
What?
is more like a sequel, but
Because that is
it's not.
Ash's
Because the book,
car sitting there. Even though it went back in time, I'm pretty sure
It didn't make
that
sense.
didn't really have it. It doesn't matter, but that is Ash's
didn't
car.
make sense,
It's a
but
sequel to the second movie.
yeah.
It's
I
like,
could see
because,
that.
it's got
They
the
left it
serious
open.
tone. Maybe it's a sequel
It's
to the
way
first
serious
movie. Maybe
compared
this
to
is the
part
real
2.
Evil Dead 2. Because, the Blair Witch Project and then Blair Witch.
Mhm.
That's how they sequel it. And the director's just an asshole and they won't tell anybody that's what he did. Because this feels like it is just a story happening to somebody else in modern time instead of it being a bunch of dorks in the cabin in the the first one, which I find the first one kind of tedious to watch now. It's
I
got
love the first one.
great moments, but
I'm one of the people that like the first one more
I
than
don't
the
know.
second one.
I've always had like a love-hate relationship with the first one. And then the second one is enjoyable. I don't know. I have no idea. Every other time I watch the first one, I like it, and then sometimes I don't like it. I don't know what it is. I guess it depends on the mood I'm in.
Mhm.
But as far as the 2013 remake, it is just the most winching. Is that what it is? Wincing, inducing movie I've ever seen, except for like some French movies.
Yeah, and the ending, it started to build up really dramatic. Now, I was hoping for there to be like
That's my one problem with the movie is the ending. It's like, oh, they build up this
Yeah.
badass creature coming out of the ground, and then here's a fucking chainsaw.
I
in the
wanted
face.
there to be like a deadite freaking invasion, like a zombie invasion of deadites, and I'm like, let's see it, like, and let's just end the movie with like, it's
No hope.
Yeah.
No hope whatsoever.
everything from hell just
That-
came beyond the gate.
Yeah, that
and
would've-
it was one monster.
Let's make that movie once in a while, you know?
All right, so go on into your number. Oh, that was your number 5, right?
Yeah.
So
Evil Dead.
my number 5 is 2014's The Babadook. So
Oh man, that was almost an honorable mention, but that's another one I've only seen once, so I can't really say for sure, but I definitely liked it enough to buy the super special edition with the pop-up book.
So again, like you were like the rest of my movies pretty much are all things that you think about once you leave the theater or after you watch the movie, right? I think
because we could probably talk about the Babadook for a little bit here because a lot of people complain about that little kid, but wouldn't you think that's how that little kid would act?
Yeah.
In that certain situation?
Yeah, so there's two things a lot of people complain about is one, they go into it expecting a monster movie, some Babadook creature.
The Babadook creature is one of the most off-putting images I've ever seen on screen.
And then the second thing is the way that the kid acted. Okay, the kid is a little annoying, but if you can't look past that for how great that movie is,
I mean, his performance.
Screw you.
Because you're supposed. He's supposed
to
driving
be
that.
He's driving the mom crazy.
That's what the movie is. Like severe late postpartum depression.
Right, and that movie. You know, I know we're not reviewing the movie. We don't want to get into it too much.
Yeah, because a lot of people might not even have seen the movie and don't even know what it's about. But it's not about a monster. It's about you are the monster.
Yeah,
basically.
a monster necessarily, like a
we are
creature.
all monsters. It's just certain things let it out.
Right.
I think that's what I got from it anyway.
Oh yeah.
But the kid acting the way he does, like that's a great performance. I mean, sure, it's not hard to get a little kid to be annoying as fuck, but I think this kid, like, he was very convincing.
He was purposefully annoying, and it may have went a little bit too much because as a viewer, you start to feel annoyed, but you start to also feel how the mom would feel, and you need to put yourself in her situation as the viewer. So to me, it worked perfectly.
One of the scariest images of any horror movie of the decade, which happens to be a movie on his list, is when she's sleeping and the Babadook just falls down from the ceiling. That scared the shit out of me when I saw the movie the first time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one image that sticks in my head when I think of the Babadook.
Yeah.
Number 4. Why do I keep trying to be for number 4? So anyway, number 4 is 2014's As Above, So Below. One of the absolute best, maybe the best found footage movie ever made, because it's not like, oh, why are they filming this? It's like they have an SD card inside of their helmet cam, so everything they experience, you get to see. Somebody found their helmets and compiled it all together, and we get to see one of the most crazy descents into hell ever depicted in a film. And if you haven't seen As Above, So Below because you know it's a found footage movie and you hate found footage movies, I implore you to just go and buy this movie.
And it's on Netflix, right?
It is.
It was.
Like, it will chill you. Like some of the imagery in this movie.
Well, it's the catacombs of Paris and stuff,
like,
right?
yeah, just the setting of the goddamn movie. When they get to the part where it says they're entering into hell and it says, "No, or abandon all hope, ye who enter."
Yeah.
Like, from that part of the movie on, it just get like, because it starts off good, and then it just gets better and better, and then finally it ends, and you're like.
And it plays with your emotions, because every time you start to think it's about to be good, it gets worse. And then when you think it's about to be worse, you start to get some hope. And then it's just continually like that.
Like, imagine The Descent, but with being found footage, and I wouldn't even know what to call it. What are they? Are they demons? What is? I don't even know what it is. It's just hell. You're in fucking hell. Like how in The Descent you were just bad enough, you were already in the cave, and then there's monsters. Well, you're in the catacombs, and you go too far, and then you're in hell.
Yeah.
They're in hell. Yeah.
My number 4 is 2019's Midsummer, or Samar, however you want to say it. Now, I liked it because it was like the opposite of the director's last work, where this is like a lot of color palettes.
I wanted to put
pretty
both
bright.
these movies on my list. On there.
From the opening scene, where it's just horrifying, and then you go into like that's dark, but then the rest of the movie.
What movie did you say?
Midsummer.
Sorry.
And it's like you're
yeah.
saying, it's beautiful to look at, but it's like juxtaposed with brutality, and like there's a scene
realistic brutality.
where they're on top of a cliff doing some kind of ritual or ceremony or something. Well, I was putting 2 words together there, but I don't want to say which words because that might spoil something.
Oh, okay.
But anyhow, one of the most realistic death scenes, and we'll just leave it at that. But the movie itself was there was one
the
part,
most incredible depictions of what it's actually like to trip on shrooms put on screen. Like, I don't know how.
Yep.
I guess it was done with computers, and the person that made the effect had to know.
And they didn't overdo
from
it.
experience.
They didn't overdo it like
Yeah, because everything was subtle. Because like you first
just wavy.
Yeah, because like people think hallucinations.
Yeah. Oh, now the guy made fun of me for saying sacrimony.
Hallucinations. How do you say it? Hallucinations? Is that
Hallucinations. You're thinking of hallucinogens. He's having hallucinations with hallucinogens, psilocybin. So
that's like that shit I was reading earlier about dumbass people posting shit on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Like what was that? Comatose.
Yeah. And then, oh, his colon smell good. Did you spray on some colon?
Anyway, what the fuck were we talking about?
Colon lingers.
Midsummer. Have you seen it?
Yeah. There, real quick, I just did want to mention there's a weird scene that's kind of cringy, but at the same time,
No. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, especially if you're in a room full of old women. Is that the scene you're talking about?
Number 3. We're getting down to the bottom 3.
Bound to the nit grit. Down to the nit grit. All right, listen. All right, turn all the lights off in your house and go watch my number 3 pick from 2011, Grave Encounters. Oh
you
my
got a few
fucking god,
found footage
dude.
movies, huh?
Yeah, and I'm not even the biggest found footage movie fan. I like sometimes I'll put off watching a movie because it's found footage. But there I was late one night, laying in bed, scrolling through Netflix, and I had been scrolling for at least an hour, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna watch this movie, Grave Encounters." And then it started, and I almost turned it off because it looked like an episode of Ghost Hunters. It's these douchey-looking hosts, and you're like, fuck these guys, I'm gonna go watch something else. But then you just keep watching, and shit start like this. It's like it's a Ghost Hunters episode, but stuff actually happens. And once stuff starts actually happening, oh my god! By the time this movie was over, I was terrified and had to have the secretary hold my hand as she took me from the bedroom out into the foyer. I would say, and then into the bathroom.
But I'm not French.
Like, it's literally right outside our bedroom door. But I had to have her come hold my hand and watch me pee because I was fucking scared. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't gonna wait for the sun to come up. I had to pee.
Well, there's not many.
I wasn't about to have the movie scared the piss out of me.
Yeah, than a haunted insane asylum, right?
And I've been to Waverly Hills Sanitarium. Have you ever been to Waverly Hills Sanitarium in Louisville, Kentucky?
A ghost followed Sarah home.
It's a true story. She still
gotta make a documentary.
Still makes her moody.
Is that ghost bothering you again, Sarah?
It doesn't like when you make fun of it.
Okay. Stop. Yeah. It'll follow me.
Oh my god, did that just move? No. Anyway, but seriously, have you seen Grave Encounters?
Yeah.
So would you say that if you had never seen it and you watched it by yourself in the dark at such an hour, you might be terrified?
I'm pretty sure I did, and yeah, it did creep me out. I didn't want to be going into no abandoned insane asylums.
But I didn't have to come to your house and hold your hand to help you go pee.
Hey, I didn't need help to
go
to the bathroom.
That's the only time that's ever happened, which is why I wonder why I didn't just put this movie at number 1.
Right?
But there are just a couple better ones on the list. But Grave Encounters, like, I strongly encourage you.
I recommend that to a lot of people.
Unless you have seen it, you disagree with me because I'm an asshole. Who cares? Whatever. But if you haven't seen this movie, I definitely recommend watching it in such of a setting. Like, don't watch it with a group of friends.
No.
Don't watch it with the
But
lights
you
on.
could.
No, watch it with a group of friends after you've all seen it by yourself.
Yeah. Like it's, no, I'm just saying, yeah, definitely watch by yourself if you can, but I could totally see this as like, you know, hanging out.
You're right, we should have got some beer.
Hanging out with a lot of people and watching it because it's one of those fun movies that's also really scary.
Fuck it.
No, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pause it for a second. Or here, you can just sit there and amuse yourself.
Good. While you're pausing.
Do you want to get us?
Yeah, sure.
You want the original
Just give me a beer,
200th
please.
anniversary or the extra stout? Here, I'll save the anniversary one.
I just don't want this to mess up because it's decent
Running
and
out of time.
I don't want to be doing another half an hour long video. This guy. Now you got Gary meowing in the video.
Here, get out, get out! Get out! Get the goddamn cat out of here!
Just to warn you, you're gonna have to deal with the oven beeping.
You can have the
I
extra
wanna eat
stout. I
sometime
probably
tonight.
won't like
Yeah,
the
that's
extra
fine.
stout. Here, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. What are we on? You're number 3?
Yes.
Here, we're gonna toast to his number.
Back from a beer break. Extra stout. Ooh,
Ooh,
good.
I'm not normally the one to like Guinness, but I've never had it in a glass bottle. And the only time I like it is when it's poured correctly.
On Bar Rescue, Black Sheep.
No.
I know,
Well,
but-
maybe, yeah, I guess that's... No, the first time I ever had it poured correctly was when we went to that...
Pulled correctly.
Shut.
From the keg.
Just
When
be
it comes
quiet.
to the keg, it's
Just be
pulled.
When it
quiet.
comes-
We're not here
Fact
to talk
check.
about
Fact
fancy
check.
Guinness. We're gonna get copyright claimed for having beer on.
Alright, so my number 3.
This is gonna be so much of a pain in the ass to edit.
Another 2019 film. This was a great year for horror movies.
Hold on, before you mention it, this asshole didn't go by the rules I gave him. I gave him some stipulations, and he lives outside the box.
I couldn't. There's too many good movies that were the same year. So, I had to put this in, and this is The Lighthouse. Have you seen it yet?
No.
It didn't have a wide release. I had to see it at the Esquire.
Yeah,
It's
I was gonna drive to the AMC, but
small
I've never been to
theater
the Esquire.
in a college part of town. But, just from the get-go, like, the way it was shot, you remember. I forget what it was shot in. But it's like a small little square. It's black and white. It feels like you're watching...
4x9.
Yeah.
1080p.
It feels like you're watching a movie from the early 1900s. But 5 minutes in and you forget about it because the story's so captivating. Even though there's only 2 people in it. And it's not like a typical horror movie. Like, I could see someone even not thinking it was a horror movie, maybe. But it definitely plays on the folklore of horror, I think. Of the sea and the old seaman tales. I just want to say seaman.
That's the only reason he put it on the list. He didn't even like the movie that much.
I was just waiting.
Just wanted to say semen.
I've been waiting for 30 minutes to say that. But, yeah, I don't want to... That movie just came out, so I don't want to say too much about it. But it was loosely based on a true story.
I swear to God,
And
we
it's
better-
very
I
interesting.
I have a weird feeling we might have the same number 1.
Well, I think we may...
But, I mean,
I
we're
think
on
it might
number
be
2,
at
but-
least... Maybe
Maybe it'll be number 2.
Alright, well, let's go on.
I don't know if my number 2 will even be on your list because you probably haven't seen it because you don't like to read.
I never learned to read.
Me neither.
Where do I get that? No, just go ahead.
I like mask. I make you mask. See, I wish I had my old phone so I could show you this song I made about this weird person at the haunted house that's really weird. Hopefully he doesn't watch my YouTube channel.
I know who you're
He wouldn't know who I'm
talking
talking
about,
about. He wouldn't know who I'm talking about.
He wouldn't probably, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you might know who I'm talking about. Maggie. She probably won't watch this because it's not about her or the haunted house.
Well, we
That's
can
what she
make it
said.
about her.
Yeah, we'll make it about Maggie. We'll just pop her up.
The
on
Lighthouse,
thumbnail.
Maggie. It has something to do with mermaids. Watch it. You'll love it. Alright, so...
We're gonna have so many fucking things to cut out of this.
You're keeping that in there.
Okay.
And we're on number 2.
Oh, Alex, I need your help. My number 2 pick from 2010 comes from, I think, South Korea, because like I don't think they make movies in North Korea. And that's I Saw the Devil. Have you seen this shit? Have you seen this shit? Oh my god. Like it's like a revenge horror.
That is one I really want to see.
And it is probably the best revenge horror movie I've ever seen. Like it's better than I Spit on Your Grave. Because there's this guy, right? And he gets a call from his girlfriend and she's broke down. And then there's this other guy, right? And he's gonna help her to death. He's gonna help her to death. And when he helps her to death, her boyfriend tracks this guy down, and then it's like a cat and mouse game of just getting the shit almost beat to death, or shit almost.
Yeah. That made sense to me.
Yeah, it's wow.
That new faster acting.
That's pretty good. It's affected my diabetes. Anyway, I Saw the Devil is one of the most choreographed.
Choreographed? Or
2010's I Saw the Devil is badass. And if you haven't seen it, it's very long. It's a very long movie. It's like almost 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it feels like it's about an hour and 30 minutes. And some people say you're going to shave some stuff off, but I really enjoyed every single second of this movie. Every single second. Because I was always hesitant to watch it. Because Slade Shepherd was like, here, have this movie. I'm pretty sure he's the one who sent it to me. And I never watched it. And then one day it was on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, boop.
He's the one that was at Horror Hound with us, right?
Yeah.
Which, 2019 Horror Hound, or 2020 Horror Hound, right? Yeah. We gotta make plans for that.
But yeah!
Another new blog coming at you.
I feel like I should have more to say about I Saw the Devil and just how brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
Well,
and just
think
so fast paced for a 2.5 hour long or over 2.5 hour long movie. The pacing is just full throttle, like the whole time, and just like I said, the choreography, is that right? Choreography.
Choreography.
And here I am making fun of idiots on Twitter.
My number 2, which I think might be your number 1, because you haven't said it yet, and your ass better to fucking put this on your list, is 2015's, although I think it was like re-released in 2016, anyhow, was The Witch. And,
well, why don't you tell us about The Witch, Chad?
Well, this could definitely be interchanged with my number 1, but I did put it at number 2.
On a technicality?
Well, okay, so let's back off of that for a while.
Very controversial movie to be putting on your number 2.
So even me, like, I didn't know too much about it going into it. So as I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm thinking I'm about to see something about, a scary witch.
What the hell are you doing in there?
It's a controversial movie. A lot of people.
Is it
I don't know what part.
Controversial, or is it more polarizing?
Why are you interrupting us?
Yeah. So it's polar. Oh my god. Of course, we get down to the last 2 and it just falls off the rails. Anyhow, so yeah,
my ass hurts.
It's a polarizing movie. A lot of people really love it, and I got a 3. But a lot of people don't like it and think it's very boring. Even when I started watching, I'm like, what? Am I watching The Crucible or something? Like, what is going on here? So,
it was
what?
It said something about The Crucible.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sitting there thinking, am I watching The Crucible? Like, is Daniel Day-Lewis about to pop up on the screen? It's the way that the dialogue is just very old Quaker, Old English.
Quaker.
I think
you're like way off base on that one, buddy.
Well, they're Puritans. Let's just say that, right?
They're like fucking pilgrims.
Yeah, they're like Pilgrim Puritans, and they put him out in his whole I don't want to make it into a review.
All right, well, you know how I kept saying that I was kind of excluding some movies that I had only seen once from the list until I had a chance to rewatch it. That's not the case with number 1, which is The Witch.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off when people are like, that movie's so slow and boring. How the fuck is it boring? Like, I get it. You don't understand what they're saying because you're fucking ignorant. I mean, I can't even fucking barely read, but I can understand, thus thou wish to live deliciously. That means you want to fucking party, bitch, because we got the... Fuck. That's an expensive figure. But that's basically what that means. And like, if you shut the fuck up and listen and put your goddamn phone down for 5 fucking minutes, you can clearly understand what the fuck they're saying. Not to mention the fact that you don't have to necessarily understand what the fuck they're saying if you just shut the fuck up and watch the goddamn movie. Because it is fucking amazing, and it is the best horror movie of the decade, possibly one of the best horror movies ever made. Just because here's listen. This is what the guy did. Because you like this movie, The Lighthouse, right? I haven't seen The Lighthouse yet, but what this guy did is he used natural lighting. He made clothes out of the same material, in the same way that they would have made clothes back then. They built the fucking sets with the tools they would have used to build these fucking sets to give it that authentic look. And then when he was directing the movie, he kind of grabs you if you're paying attention and then just twists the tension until it fucking snaps. And you're dancing naked with the fucking devil.
And that's why I didn't want to say too much about it, because I knew I had a feeling it was going to be your number 1.
I haven't seen the movie in probably 2 years.
It could have easily been my number 1.
And it's still like... Yeah, I seriously need to watch it so we can review it, but...
And like I said, it's got to do with the devil, which I already...
Like, I didn't know what to expect, because I remember watching reviews for it, and just the way people described it, I was like, that doesn't sound like anything I'd want to watch. I had no interest in watching this movie, to be honest with you, because I, too, thought from the trailer, the trailer's good, but it's like... It doesn't look like nothing happens. But then when you actually see shit that actually happens, you actually see the witch. Because I was not, like, when I was watching it, I was not expecting to spoil it, but I wasn't expecting to see the witch. But they show you the witch, and it's very effective. Why are you over there making noise? You want to get punched in the mouth?
Yeah. So, it's definitely a classic. I mean, it's going to go down as one of the best horror movies ever, I believe. I think it'll continue to be polarizing. You know.
Tell you what, though, I hope this video is not too long to where I can't edit it without having to delete everything on my phone.
So, my number 1 is, and this wasn't even on your list, which is pretty crazy. I feel like
maybe it's a movie that I forgot about. Am I gonna be mad?
2008. I don't know. 2018's Hereditary.
Oh no! See that I wanted that to be on my list so bad.
You couldn't do it?
Both of his movies were going to be on my list.
You didn't put it Midsommar or Hereditary on there.
I know.
What's up with that? Do you want to explain why you didn't do that before I explain why I did do it?
I don't know. These other movies just had more of a rewatchability to me. Which I guess, I mean, that can't be said necessarily about The Witch. But I feel like The Witch is better than both Ari Aster's movies. But... I don't know, like, because Hereditary was just, it is a masterpiece, and I don't, it was on my list, but there was just some, and you might not think that they're masterpieces, but just, I feel like they were overlooked gems. Everybody saw Hereditary, everybody was talking about Hereditary. I figured that'd be on plenty of other people's lists. I didn't want my list to look like everybody else's.
No, I feel you there, but I gotta be true to myself. I mean,
to thine own self be true.
It was my number 1, so it was my number 1. I mean, I'm not gonna say something off the wall just to...
Visually, got some of the most disturbing imagery I've ever seen on screen.
Yeah. Well, the acting was phenomenal.
Well, they got... Like, see, that's what
I don't know how Toni Collette didn't win an Oscar.
We don't know that yet, do we? Or she didn't?
No, that was last year.
Well, this motherfucker...
I don't even think she got nominated.
This motherfucker better was somebody from... Well, I guess the acting... See, because, yeah, the acting in Midsommar wasn't as good as the acting in Hereditary.
No.
One of these days we'll
like that dinner
talk
scene.
about that shit.
That dinner scene where they finally start to spill their guts, spill their beans, which is a Lighthouse reference for some of you guys. He hasn't seen it, so you don't know. But anyway, as soon as they start, getting some things off their chest, that's one of the best acting scenes in any movie in the last decade, I think.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Yeah, maybe I should have replaced it with something, but I'm still happy with my list. But I definitely agree with your list as well, because you did have some surprises on there that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to have more than just, The Witch. I feel like it's the same movie we had in common with our list. Maybe a couple honorable mentions.
Yeah, and the Cat in the Woods. So I feel like we gave out 20 good movies.
Thanks for not calling me a piece of shit. No, oh, wait a minute. I guess I...
Well, hold on. So let's ask each other if there's any movies that we didn't put on a list, each other's list, that surprised us.
Should we feel
Because...
like Hereditary should be talked about a little bit more?
No, because I don't want...
You said everything you wanted to say.
Yeah. So, was there any movies that we didn't mention that you're surprised that we didn't have on the list? Because there is, for me.
It's kind of hard for me to think that fast off the top of my head.
Well, see if you agree with me then.
The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Like, that's another one that I could have threw out there as an honorable mention. Here's more honorable mentions, everybody. That was the list. Here's more honorable mentions, and then we'll leave you. Because this has been way too long.
Here's some that I think will be on a lot of people's top 10s that don't even make my honorable mentions, to be quite honest. Get Out, Us, It, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, A Quiet Place, and Don't Breathe. They're all good. I liked them all. But
Don't Breathe about the blind guy?
Yeah.
That almost made my list.
Yeah, I enjoyed all of them.
But the first couple movies you mentioned are all severely overrated.
Yeah, I just think they're overrated.
Severely overrated. It, while being a decent movie, there's just something wrong with it to me. I don't know. I guess I'm blaming everything on Stranger Things.
And this,
as much as I love Stranger Things.
Talk about Ghostbusters trailer.
Yeah, fuck that Ghostbusters trailer.
So, yeah.
I mean, looking back, it wasn't that bad. Maybe I overreacted, but still. It's like, everything's going to be Stranger Things from now on. Like, oh, we're going to make some money, let's hire a kid from Stranger Things. Actually, what the fuck was that movie called that we saw last night? I saw a trailer I should have did a trailer reaction to. One was The Turning, but what was the one with Wolfen Finhard? Look it up. Hurry, look it up. Hurry up! There was a movie with Finn Wolfhard coming out, and he looks like he's finally playing a different character.
Wolfen Finhart?
Go to IMDb, you fucking idiot.
What's the name?
Finn Wolfhard.
Finn Wolfhard. Oh, that kid? That's his name?
Yeah, he's Jewish or something. I don't know.
Stranger Things, It, The Goldfinch, The Turning.
It is The Turning.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Turning. This looks like it's going to be the best horror movie of 2020. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it does seem interesting, man.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
No. Judging a movie by its cover. Start over.
Are you done? All right, everybody. So that was our list. Make sure you go make your own list and see if it's similar or different from mine and his, because mine and his were completely different from one another. So that was basically 20 some odd movies that were the best of the decade. So let me know some odd movies that were your best of the decade in the comment section down below. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell. You can also help me out by pledging to my Patreon. I should mention that. I have a Patreon. It's at the bottom of my follow me on the socials. I don't get on there that much, but maybe I should. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've been doing this for, 2 years now? We're going on 2 years, Chad. I feel like I started in February of 2018. It's about to be February of 2020. That's kind of scary.
Maybe I'll start my own channel for 2020.
Maybe you just bring your stupid ass over here. We'll start one channel. We'll just change it to... We'll call my real name Chad. Chad and Andy. That's my real name, everybody. It's Andy. In case you haven't figured out that
Andrew
Drewski is just one of them.
Drewski.
What are they
Yes.
called?
Nickname?
Like how Stephen King has that
Pseudonym.
a pseudonym. Drewski is my pseudonym.
Drewski's a character.
It's a character I play,
Walk,
pretending to be myself.
Thanks to Shroom.
Because I'm actually a really nice guy. I'm not constantly yelling at the secretary, telling her stuff that makes her mad.
Any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I'm not going to get fatter.
Yeah, we should have light beer, huh?
It's been in the refrigerator. A carbonated life guy that used to donate to the Patreon left it on my porch step, even though I don't really drink dark beers because I get diabetes.
But the wine he left was amazing.
Oh, the wine he left was amazing. Anyway, we've been talking for way too long, so why don't you get the fuck out?
Happy New Year.